Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're coming from. Welcome to our online session on our short and summer courses today with Condé Nast College of Fashion and Design in London. We're going to give you a little bit of time to join the session comfortably, and then we're going to kick off. And in the meantime, I shall introduce everyone who's in today's session because we have quite a few people. So I'm going to start with my name. My name is Agata, and I'm the head of brand. I will change my name on the screen in a second. I'm joined here today by Johannes Reponen, our academic director. Hi, Johannes.
Hi, Agatha, and welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this information session. I hope you find it useful.
Thank you. We also have Sarah Hassan. Sarah is our course leader of our some of our 5 days off courses and others as well. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, welcome everyone. Really looking forward to sharing some detail about the courses with you a little later.
Thank you. We also have Harriet Posner, who is the director of our undergraduate program, but also she's contributing actively to a number of short and summer courses. Hi, Harriet.
Thanks, Agatha. Hi, everybody. Welcome. I hope you get the info you want from this session.
We also have our wonderful admissions here. We have Destiny Martin. Hi, Destiny.
Hi, welcome everyone.
And Haley Black is with us also. Hi, Haley.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Happy to be here.
So yeah, I think that that covers it all. If you have any, as you can see, if you have any questions, you have definitely people to ask. We have, okay, it seems like you've all joined now because it slowed down a little bit. So just to let you know, you can ask questions through the chat function at the bottom of the screen, as well as the Q&A function at the bottom of your screens. So I'll be posting some helpful links within the chat, as well as try to answer as many questions as possible throughout the presentation. And then some that kind of are reoccurring questions or we feel are very important to answer on the forum, we will do some towards the end of this presentation. So, okay, without further ado, let me kick off this presentation. So today's schedule is we're going to start with the welcome, which is already running. We also then follow with our Vogue summer school that's delivered from London campus in fashion media and fashion business. And this is then followed by the presentation on our 5 days of courses. So we have 5 days of fashion styling, creative direction, fashion business, fashion journalism, and new beauty business. And then towards the end, you can ask all the questions you might have. Okay. If there's any also technical difficulties, you can't hear us or see us, please let us know and we'll try to fix it. Let us know through the chat, preferably. Okay, so we are Condé Nast College of Fashion and Design. We're based in central London, and we are part of the larger environment of Condé Nast. And those are the people who, among other iconic brands, publish Vogue. And here we are. Here's the slide. So it's Vogue is one of the probably most recognized iconic brands that they have, but they also publish GQ, New Yorker, Love, Wired, Vanity Fair, and many, many more, as you can see on the screen. They operate from over 30 different markets around the world. What does it mean for you as a student with us is that we get the latest information, the latest insights. We know what sort of skills the employers are looking after in those different markets, as well as we're able to bring talent that works both with the publications and behind the scenes with those publications, which is hugely useful when trying to familiarize you better with the world and the opportunities available within the fashion and fashion media industries. So we're we're not only coming from Condé Nast, but we also have our fantastic academics who teach across all of our courses, and majority of our academics would have a really balanced experience of real industry insights and expertise, as well as the academic knowledge. So not only will they teach you the theory, but they will also tell you how well it tests in practice and what is it that you really need to pay attention in order to avoid any pitfalls. We, of course, have fantastic industry links, so we're able to bring the expertise into the classrooms and the latest insights, be it through different projects, industry speakers, or hands-on workshops that you have while studying with us. We are a very close-knit community of very international students and staff. We literally have students coming from 100 different nationalities around the world, which means you're going to most likely make friends with someone who potentially lives quite away from you. But it doesn't mean that you will not keep in touch afterwards, because many of our past program participants are still in touch both with the college and with other past and current students, with some of them actually running businesses now together. We offer also some extent a career support with our courses, though I must say it here that with short courses, there's of course a limited capacity of what we can offer. Saying that, we do always touch upon what are the opportunities within those particular areas of the industry that you're trying to explore and how potentially engage with those. And of course, as you will see today, we offer courses across fashion media, and all sorts of lifestyle education. So yeah, so far, last year, in fact, we celebrated 10-year anniversary, but we're still talking about it this year because it's still this academic year. But in fact, we're turning 11 now, and we've had over 3,000 students coming through our doors, be it through short or online or long degree courses. We currently have 27 various programs available to various audiences. And as I mentioned before, we're all very international, both our student body as well as staff itself, which I'm sure you can already gauge from the names you see on the screen today. So what it means also, you're never going to feel like you don't fit, because we're all from somewhere else and we're all, keen to make friends and get to know you better. We're based in central London. Very easy it is to commute to the college and back. Also, that's how the college looks like. We're based in a historic Georgian building. That's an example of, I believe, one of the best preserved historic buildings from that period. And you can see here the inside of the building. We also have some specialist facilities. We, of course, have library with thousands of books, as well as the access to archives, the Vogue archive, as well as other digital resources you would have access to during your studies. We also have a photography studio, which provides you with opportunity to, of course, use it as part of your course, which you will for sure, as well as for your other, potentially your own projects. And this is just to give you a better idea of the area of London that we're actually based in. As I mentioned, it is very central. We are from the around the corner from the British Museum as well as the British Library. But there's loads of other museums, galleries, pubs, nightclubs, and all sorts of other things that you could be experiencing while being in London in the summer. And summer in London can be truly, truly gorgeous. And you'll find it all within the walking distance from the college. So today we will be really focusing on our London campus. However, for your information, we also have initiatives and campuses in other places. We have a Condé Nast College in Madrid that offers postgraduate degrees, diploma, short courses online, as well as the Vogue Summer School. We also have a New York campus, a New York initiative. For the first time this year, we're organizing Vogue Summer School in New York for those below the age of 18. And of course, we offer multitudes of online courses, both in English and Spanish from both Madrid and London. But today it's all about London. So I'm going to pass it on now to Johannes to talk about the Vogue Summer School London.
Thank you, Agatha. And I'm also going to ask Harriet Posner to join me in talking about our exciting summer offer. So Vogue Summer School takes place at our London campus during the month of July. I think it's a really exciting, dynamic, industry-focused, highly intensive 4-week course for those of you who are thinking about your summer plans. And it's not too late to think about what you're going to do this summer. Actually, now is the right time to make those summer plans. If you're 18 and over, if you are thinking about spending a summer or even the month of July in London, but simultaneously you are wanting to learn more about the really exciting world of fashion, whether it's specifically focusing on fashion media or fashion business, then this could be something that you might want to consider. Our summer school, like I said, it takes place over 4 weeks. During this time, we run both of these, our fashion business and fashion media courses simultaneously, which means that not only do you get to meet loads of students who are studying the same subject as you are, but there will also be a lot of opportunities for you to meet students on the other track as well. And we have a variety of highlights that are, and most of these are shared across both of the Vogue Summer School tracks. So, like I said, the course is really intensive and very much focused on industry practice, which is why each week we bring in a variety of industry practitioners to teach you and to talk to you about their expertise, whether it's via lectures, whether it's more about you learning relevant knowledge, current industry practices. But equally, we're trying to make sure that the work is very interactive, that there are lots of workshops for you to, if you like, get your hands dirty. During the course, you will work on a team project with other students. It's an industry project where that you will, in a sense, complete during the course of the 4 weeks, where the delivery is created in a way that to take you through the different steps of coming up with either a proposal for Vogue if you're on the media track, or coming up with a business proposal if you're on the business track. So really, we're trying to not only teach you skills, but at the end of the course, you have something really concrete to show and to put into your portfolio as an example of what you've created as part of your studies. Of course, during the course, we make the most of the fact that we're in London, so there are always lots of really exciting exhibitions, places to see that we schedule around the delivery, and so that you can make the most of your time with us. I already mentioned that we're very, very focused on practical skills, but equally, because you'll be exposed to a variety of different industry professionals, you'll hopefully have quite a holistic understanding of different careers opportunities that exist within both fashion media or fashion business. And as part of the course, we also have a couple of sessions that are specifically focused on helping you to think about what are the possibilities if fashion business or fashion media is the avenue that you're wanting to pursue. in coming to study with us, you're also entering the wider Condé Nast College community. And one of the real, I think, highlights of the week that we have at the college is our Vogue Education Presents initiative, which is a series of talks that take place throughout the year at the college, where we invite our postgraduate students, our undergraduate students, and of course, whilst you're studying with us, you will be invited to these talks as well, where we bring in industry speakers to come and talk to our students about the exciting world of fashion. Harriet, do you have anything else to add to that in terms of the overall Vogue Summer School experience before we'll go on to talk about the specific courses?
You've covered so much of it. There isn't much more to say. But what I would say is, although we have the two pathways, you will have a lot of time together as a whole group as well. So, you know, you'll be able to bounce ideas and meet people who are studying the media and meet people who are studying the business. And, you know, media is a business as much as it's media. And so you'll be able to kind of bounce ideas, meet different people, share experiences across the whole group. And then you're split up into different, you know, 2 different streams for different things where you can go deeper, focus deeper. And then you work on this project towards the end where the business students will come up with kind of proposals for business ideas and pitch ideas for business, and the media will be doing more to do with content and approaches to media. So I think from each other, you're going to learn so much as well. People come with experience, certain experiences of the industry, and they want to learn other experiences. There are some of you who come with, you know, experiences of other industries, and now you want to understand the fashion industry. So the richness of knowledge that will already be contained within the group will be exciting and unique to you. So there'll be an awful lot of possibilities for exchange between yourselves, as well as learning from our guest speakers and lecturers. So I think that's everything to add to that.
Great, thank you. And sorry about the timing of coming to you for additional comments was probably the worst.
I honestly, I've never seen a plane so close to me in my entire life, apart from if I was sitting in one. It was sort of like an old World War II plane or something. Oh, okay. Enough of that.
I suppose one more a useful thing to add here is that these courses are validated by University of Buckingham, and they are worth I believe 15 credits. What that means is that in completing the course, there is actually at the end of the course when you submit your work, and if you pass the course, you will be awarded 15 credits at level 4. So particularly for those of you, if you are, for instance, completing your undergraduate studies, and you can gain extra credit as part of your course, that might be useful to know. But also, I think it's important to know that at the end of the course, you get a certificate for completing the course. Now let's look at the fashion media Vogue Summer School track more specifically. So as I said, this is really for those of you if you're interested in the world of media. If you're interested in learning about styling, content creation, journalism, creative direction, then this could be the course for you. And really, we've tried to create this in a way that gives you quite a nice holistic insight into these different ways of creating media, or the different practices that somebody might engage in working in media. And you then employ these skills that you're learning throughout the course in completing your final team project, which is a proposal for Vogue. Both our media and business tracks are very much structured around these sort of focused themes that we cover during the course of the 4 weeks. So week 1 is very much about introductions and getting you started on the course, but also we start to think about the wider world and the context around fashion. Week 2 is focused on creative practice in fashion image and styling. And actually, one of the real highlights of the fashion media track is that each team completes a shoot in a studio that we have in the college, where we bring in a professional photographer, a model, and a hair makeup artist. So you'll actually be working in the studio, creating a photo shoot as part of your assignment. And we'll start to think about that from week 2 onwards. Week 3 is focused on content creation. So we think about content creation for social media, content creation for different types of media channels. We think about journalism and fashion writing as part of thinking about the final assignment, which is a proposal for Vogue. So where you will, as a team, will ask you to come up with different types of content to publish in Vogue. And then the last week is focused on the business of fashion media, where we think about, you know, what makes the media world work, the importance of advertising, the importance of revenue stream, all of which is part of understanding and working in media. So styling, journalism, creating content fits into the financial logic of media. We try to illuminate that. And of course, also in week 4, as I mentioned, that's when the final photo shoots take place, which is, I think, a real highlight for all the students as part of this course. And then at the end of the week, students not only present their final projects to industry experts, which is a really nice experience for you to get some practice in actually talking about the ideas that you've created as a team and getting some feedback about it. And then we finish the course with the end of course celebration. That's it about the fashion media course. I'll now pass over back to Harriet to talk about the fashion business course in more detail.
Thanks, Johannes. So those of you who are maybe more interested in the business of fashion, the way that, you know, luxury brands operate, want to start your own fashion business. We have a lot of people who maybe want to start a collection or want to develop a jewelry business or something like that. They want to understand a bit more. Then this could be the course for you. Similarly to the media, we start with a kind of introduction and context of fashion. We look at things like the fashion system and kind of the way that fashion is structured into seasons, and debate whether, you know, we can find changes and ways to develop the fashion system and break down some of the things that perhaps shouldn't be the way that they are. So there's a bit of critical analysis about the system. And then, you know, if you're somebody who wants to set up a new business, perhaps you're a disruptor and you want to challenge that. Then in the second week, you know, building on that, we'll look at fashion business in terms of strategy, marketing, branding, and promotion. So again, this is where we'll unpick how businesses operate, the kind of strategies that they use, particularly around branding, luxury branding, how they promote through social media, and all the different touch points that a business might use in order to connect between themselves and their customers. And then, you know, kind of we'll have looked at that. And in the next week, we sort of look at the future of our area and the industry. And that's where it's really interesting. Things are changing. They're changing quite fast because of things like AI, technologies, digital technologies, what customers are asking for, sustainability, how we're wanting more ethical practices. So we can look at all of that. And, you know, as I said earlier, sort of where can you challenge the system and how can you think about the values and what you want to stand for and input that perhaps into a business idea. And then in the fourth week, You'll do your project where you'll pitch your business concepts. So you'll also get a practice around pitching, having a confidence to stand there and communicate your ideas, and visualize your ideas as well, so that other people can see what you're thinking about. And we'll do things like mood boards so that you can easily find a visual language to explain what you're talking about, because the picture can tell 1,000 words, as we know. So even though we're talking about business, it will be very creative, trying to express an idea in a business way, maybe mapping your business, talking about the social media, visualizing your customers, all of those sorts of things are quite creative. And I think the course really blends that creative and strategic business mind. So, you can think of this if you're quite out there on the creative side, or you're there very strategic and sort of a bit more data analysis. Both ways work. And again, you'll work with all sorts of different people in little mini workshops and so on. So you'll get a chance to look at things in the round, shall we say. I'm not sure what's coming up on the next slide. There we go. Okay.
Yes, here's just a few of our alumni that we've had with us during the last few years, and what they've also gone on to do, which might be interesting for you to see. And as you're familiarizing yourself with some of these faces and what they've gone on to do, I thought maybe also this could be a good point to check in to see if there's any specific questions that have come through about Vogue Summer School. There might be some questions that come in later, but given that we're a few minutes early before we start to talk about our 5 days of courses, we've got a few minutes to pick up any if there are any specific questions around our Vogue Summer School. Nothing at the moment. Okay.
No questions about there
What
were
if
some
we miss
coming
a week?
throughout.
I just saw one about what if we miss a week? Let's
Oh,
have a look.
yes.
What if we miss a week of the course? Can we still pass? That's a very good question, Nicole. Johannes, I think you're probably best in a position to answer that one.
Yeah. It is a 4-week intensive course. It is the curriculum is quite action-packed. And actually, it's a good point. It's something that we didn't talk about. During each week, students are expected to be in from Monday to Thursday, where we usually have classes starting at 10 o'clock and finishing around 5 o'clock. Friday is what we would call a self-directed study day. But that's also the time when we encourage the groups to get together to complete their assignment. So whilst the delivery is very much geared towards helping you to think through these ideas and think through the tasks that we're giving you, you will also need that time as a group to come together to work on your ideas in order to then have a proposal ready for the final presentation when you're presenting for your industry professionals. So missing a week actually would mean missing 25% of the course, which is actually quite a big chunk. So whilst it would not, things happen for all sorts of reasons, that it might mean that a participant might miss a day or few. But if you already know that you've got times when you wouldn't be able to take part in the course, I would think very carefully as to whether this is now the right time to do the course, because it's also about you invest in time on learning, and ultimately at the end of the course you are submitting a project. Both there's a group project, but there's also a very small individual project, and you're assessed on that. So you want to make sure that you can do your best in completing the course successfully as well. Hopefully that sort of answers the question.
There was another question. Someone has attended one of the short courses. Let me find the question. They attended the styling short course in March. They're wondering if the fashion media summer school course will be the exact same.
Excellent question. The short answer is no. It won't run in the similar way. There might be some elements. So you will have done the shoot in our studio. There is also we do also do a shoot as part of this particular course. There's a lot of familiar faces that you will recognize who take part in the delivery of this course, who also contribute to things like our 5 days of courses. But no, we don't run it in the same way. It's a really good question, though.
Yeah, Sarah wants to say something.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Can I just say, in terms of the shoots as well, we work with lots of different models all the time, so there won't be any repeat in terms of the creative that's that you create on the course. And it could be that you're working with a different photographer, hair and makeup as well. And obviously, you'll be in small groups, and those people will be different too. So the outcome will be very, very different.
Yeah.
Thank you. We have also a question about the age limit. So there isn't a top age limit. You can be as old as you want to. We're not going to stop you. Absolutely. There is a minimal age limit, which is 18 years of age. You have to be 18 years of age to be able to join the course in London specifically. If you are below 18 years of age, you could look at our Vogue summer school in New York, as this is for those below the 18 years. You could potentially also check out the Madrid summer school, as they have a mix of some under and over 18 years old. There's also been a question about the accommodation. So we do not have accommodation for our students, unfortunately. However, what we do is we share with you accommodation information, and there are a lot of various options for students in London. So we would, I'm just going to drop it into the chat as well for everyone, so you can use this link to check out any accommodation options available within London for students. We also, once you are part of the course, as in once you accept the offer and pay, we also add you now to our virtual learning environment, Canva, when you can meet other students who will be joining the course in hope that you make friends and potentially try to arrange your accommodation together. Sorry, just
Question coming in on the other Q&A about bursaries, I think, and installments.
Unfortunately, at the moment, we do not have any bursaries or scholarships for those summer schools in London. The installments, it is all in one, I believe, in one go. However, if you need to pay it, I don't know if you have like car limits or anything like that, do talk to us and we'll see what we can do. But yeah, generally it's just in one installment. Okay, I think that's all the questions. So we can move on.
Perfect. We can park there, and of course, if there's any other questions that emerge about our Vogue Summer School, then please do ask those at the end of the presentation as well. We will have time. But next up, we'll talk about our 5 days of courses, and really, we have a 5 different 5 days of courses that we run at the college 3 times a year. So our next intake is going to be on the week commencing on the 18th of June or 19th of June, if I remember correctly. And then following that, the next iteration will be the first week of September. And our 5 days of courses are really intensive 5-day insights into the world of fashion, particularly around the subject area that you might be interested in, whether it's in fashion styling, fashion journalism, creative direction, fashion business, or our new beauty business course. Before we talk a little bit more about those individual courses, again, I wanted to just mention a few kind of highlights or common areas around these courses. So in a similar way that we talked about around our Vogue Summer School, where we run both tracks simultaneously, that allows also that opportunity to meet others, to network, to create hopefully those lifelong friendships. We do the same. We take the same approach with our 5 days of courses. So whenever we run them, we run our 5 courses simultaneously, just to make sure that students get opportunities to meet others, and to network, and to also work on a collaborative project. But also there are some common elements. So for instance, one of the big highlights, and it's also something that we do as part of our Vogue Summer School, is our Bringing the Masthead to Life event, where we go to the Condé Nast headquarters at the Adelphi building, which is just 15-minute walk from the college, where we invite a variety of colleagues from a variety of different Condé Nast titles to come and talk to our students. Actually, our MA students went to Adelphi today to hear from speakers from different publications as part of the Bringing the Masthead to Life event. But it's I think a real highlight for all of our students. We also look at what exhibitions and events are happening, and we schedule that as part of the learning, but we wrap it around so that it kind of there's a purpose for you potentially going in to see an exhibition. So I'll just give an example. Journalism students might start to think about how do you write a review around an exhibition, which is part of the industry practice. With all of our courses, we bring in a variety of industry professionals to talk to you about their practice, and we'll during the course of the coming slides, we'll highlight some of the practitioners that we've had previously coming in to talk to our students. Some courses have a careers panel, but equally with all the courses, because you'll hear from a variety of different practitioners, it is also an opportunity for you to get an insight into different ways in which people got to where they are, or how they're approaching their practice. So there is not one way to be a fashion stylist, or to work in fashion business, or to be a journalist. And I think that's a really important part of the learning. At the end of the course, we work on, our students work on a collaborative project, which is really, first of all, it's an opportunity for students to work across the different tracks that are taking place, but also to start to apply their expertise in creating a proposal. And it's a one day short and sharp project that students then present at the end of the day before end of course celebration. And the work that students do in that very short time space is just really quite amazing. But again, with all of our courses, there's something tangible that you create as part of the course that, again, hopefully will inspire you to start to explore the practice, whether it could be an example for your portfolio, or just as a way to sort of kind of have something like as I said, tangible for completing the course. Here's an example of one of the timetables, and I'll pass over to Harriet. This is just an example from our fashion business course, and we never run necessarily exactly the same format, but this is just to give you a bit of a flavor as to how the week might unravel.
Thank you. So, with all of the courses, again, there'll be an introduction where everybody on the different 5-day courses will all be together and get welcomed into the college and get to understand, where everything is in the college and so on. And then you'll go off into your different 5-day groups and have specialized sessions relating to your topic. Again, I talked about this on the summer course. I think it's important that you understand the fashion system, so we do that. We usually have a team from Condé Nast who look after all their social media strategy, or a key speaker come and talk to you in the first afternoon. And then there is the Masthead event that Johannes has already mentioned. We cover things like branding and the marketing. We have an entrepreneurship day where we have a panel of industry guests and entrepreneurs who've set up their own businesses, and they tell you all about their journey to where they are. And they're very different businesses. We've got beauty businesses and magazine businesses, fashion clothing brands, skateboarding and streetwear. So, you know, a whole different range of people come and talk about that. We have a fashion retailer, visual merchandising expert. You'll learn a bit about buying and merchandising. So throughout this as well, for each of those topics, you'll be learning about the job roles and the sorts of paths within the industry that you can take. You go on a retail safari where you go out around the city, looking at some of the top stores. And then on the final day, you do your group project. So, you know, there are some sessions that are a little bit longer, like a whole afternoon, and others that are an hour long, introducing you to a topic, and so on. So that just gives you a little sense. It might not be exactly that layout, but something similar.
And here's just an example of a creative direction timetable, just to kind of give you a comparison to another course. And actually, I think one thing that might be useful to know is that we usually start our classes around 10:30, and the day usually finishes around 4:30, 5 o'clock. So they're quite long, intensive days, and we always try to make sure that whilst you're with us, you make the most of that time, and we try to make it really exciting and dynamic week for you. The first course that we're going to talk about is our 5 days of fashion styling, and I'll pass over to Sarah to talk a bit more about this course.
Thank you so much, Johannes. Yeah, it's just a warm welcome to the 5 days of styling. Like the other courses, this is very intensive, it's dynamic, and it's really jam-packed. So there really is no time for boredom whatsoever. So who's it for? Well, it's really suitable for anyone who'd like to find out more about how the industry works and ultimately how fashion images are created. It's also been created for those wanting to find out more about the different facets of fashion styling, what it also takes to be a very successful fashion stylist today. So we're going to look at all the different facets, from editorial styling, still life styling, celebrity styling. So we'll see all these different elements because the styling world is huge. It's designed also to introduce our students to visual and practical skills that are required within this career that you're wanting to forge for yourselves. So there's going to be industry talks on subjects such as street style, the stylist toolkit, which is really informative. It tells you, you know, exactly what you need in your stylist tool belt to bring a shoot to life. There's going to be advertising and lookbook sessions, celebrity styling sessions, show styling, personal styling, you name it, it's certainly in this course. So the highlights, what are the highlights? I'd certainly say the highlights are the photo shoot, and you get to do it here in our very own studio here at CNC. And you can take it whichever direction you want. If you want to do more of an advertising shoot or an editorial shoot, you're working in very small micro groups. And also you get to shoot a still life photo shoot for the social media platform Meta or Instagram as we previously knew it. And you also do a celebrity styling workshop along with many others. But going back to the studio shoot on the Thursday, it is a really big day, and it's the one that all the students have planned for, and they're really longing to get their hands dirty. So they work with a professional team, including a fashion photographer, a professional hair and makeup artist, as well as a professional model from a leading London agency. So, you know, we've created the team, and then the students just, you know, are as creative as possible, working with that really brilliant team that we've given them. So students will also look at the work of established stylists and photographers, as well as learning about all the creative agencies out there. And I think one thing is really important is understanding the differences between, you know, styling and editorial and advertising, and understanding the differences there. We do an excursion. We take our students to an exhibition where they get loads of ideas for future shoots. So that's really fun. And by the end of your 5 days, what do you walk away with? Well, you walk away with images from a professional studio shoot. You get to choose about 20 to 30 images from that shoot, which is brilliant. Lots of different crops and angles, and you can then go on to use those images within your own personal portfolios. You do a still life photo shoot, a street style photo shoot, and you also come away with a selection of really professional looking mood boards. So, you know, it's, as I said, it's jam-packed. We always get some really great feedback from our students, and I can honestly say that some of the best work I've seen comes from these 5-day courses, because these students are just they're trying to create something in such a small space of time, and sometimes something brilliant can be achieved within those 5 days. At the end of the course, you'll obviously receive a Condé Nast College of Fashion and Design certificate of completion. Up and coming dates, 17th of June, with following intake in September. And here we have a slide with some of our guest speakers. Sophie Stevens, she is a fashion stylist and art director by trade. She also works on a lot of our online programs. She will be heading up quite a lot of the sessions. We have another stylist called Sarah Nash, who is very much entrenched in the world of fashion celebrity styling. Ed Miles is a photographer that I've worked with for many years when I was at Vogue and at Sunday Times Style. He is normally our photographer of choice. And of course, I feed into the course as well. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, Sarah. So whereas the styling course is really for those of you, if you want to tell stories through images, if words are your thing, then maybe 5 days of fashion journalism could be the course for you. It's the course for budding journalists, budding writers. If you're interested in becoming a fashion editor, if you love words, if you love writing, I would highly recommend this particular course. We've designed this course in a very practical way, where we teach you all the different ways in which you might approach writing about fashion. So once we start the course by asking, what is even fashion journalism? Really, the core focus of the course is around how to write news, how to write features, how to do catwalk reviews, and from there, how to create trend pieces. How to even do kind of more specialist areas such as beauty journalism. Increasingly, we're also thinking about the evolving role of journalism. So whilst journalists used to just work for fashion magazines, now there are all sorts of different opportunities for journalists to work for instance, brands. So things like copywriting is an increasingly important part of the remit of a journalist or fashion writer. Not everything is about writing also. So we do take time to think about fashion media. We think about the role of PR, because PR is most journalists work with PRs in understanding, you know, getting the news, getting the stories, getting the sources, getting the facts right. So, you know, understanding a little bit of that relationship as well is an important facet of working as a journalist. So as you can see, it's a highly practical course. But of course, if you think about the practice of journalism, you might think about writing. What we don't want to happen is that you come and study with us and you'd spend 5 days of just quietly writing at your desk. That would completely defeat the point of coming in to study with us. And instead, we try to show you these different ways of approaching journalism and approaching writing. And alongside the course, we've created a course pack that has got information, it's got advice, but also it's got a variety of writing assignments where we encourage you to start to create your portfolio, to write about fashion. And we also offer students who complete this particular course the opportunity to complete one of those writing assignments and to send it for us for feedback, where your piece is then looked at by a professional journalist and a writer who will then also give you feedback about your writing style and how you've approached the subject and how you've completed this particular writing assignment. So it's just a really lovely opportunity to hopefully to encourage you to start writing. Here's a quick snapshot of the types of people that we've had previously teaching on the course. They change for each iteration. But also it's here to illustrate really the variety of different types of practitioners that we try to bring in. There is not one way of being a journalist. You might be a freelancer. You might write for a broadsheet or a magazine. You might be more of a hybrid in terms of your approach. And like, for instance, you might come to it as a stylist and a writer. So we try to bring different perspectives so you start to understand a variety of different ways in which you might approach fashion journalism. And I'll pass over to Harriet to talk about the 5 days of fashion business course.
Thank you. Obviously, I've kind of touched a little bit on this when we were going through the sort of timetable to give you thinking about that. I think the thing is that if you come and you're thinking about what is fashion business and all the different areas that you might want to enter within fashion business, which will cover branding, marketing, business strategy, or your own business, then this will cover a lot of the things that will support you with that. We have lots of workshops, so it's a little bit difficult to compete with Sarah's styling and, you know, still life shoots and things like that. But we have some really great kind of templates that you can use, that you can map out business ideas. You can look at and map out a brand and its identity and what it stands for, and think about how that connects with different types of customers. You can think about what kind of different business strategies you might be interested in, whether that's, you know, a retail business or you're just online, whether involving recycling, upcycling, whether you want to think about a jewelry business, and even a media business. But I would say we're more kind of around the marketing and the branding for businesses and so on. So there's a lot of kind of interactive sessions where you'll learn from the academics and the industry professionals who'll be able to answer your questions. And it's a lot of kind of conversation and to and fro about how to finesse a business idea, how to research it. And I think that's another really important part, is that you have to do quite a lot of research and understanding of the marketplace, and who your competitors might be and what type of customers you want to attract. And then we also think a bit about the communication. So what kind of messages and campaigns might you want to create? You know, what do you want your customers to know about you and understand about you? And how do brands do this in real life? So there's a lot of very practical information, and there's a lot of visualization as well, because as I said earlier, you've got all these wonderful ideas probably in your head, but how do you communicate them and visualize them? And so sort of pitching your ideas is a really important part of fashion business world. We'll also look at PR. So we'll touch on writing at some level about, again, how do you communicate? How do you get the essence of an idea into a snappy sentence so that someone can kind of pick up on who you are. So there's a lot of those kinds of things that goes on. And also give you a chance, I think, to look at the different kind of jobs, different types of job roles, and how that's changing. Because I think our industry is changing so fast. So this will give you really, I think, an insider track on where you could end up, or where you might be heading for within the industry. So I hope that kind of contextualizes it. I do some teaching on the course. We have Wendy Kay, who is a business owner and has worked as a fashion buyer for many years. We have PR, a wonderful expert called Aurora Starbuck, which I think is one of the most beautiful names I've ever heard. She comes and talks to you about branding and PR. We've got, and Sarah will touch on this as well. We have people who work within businesses like Katie Elwood-Smith from Molton Brown. We have a fashion buyer, Zoe Hinton, and we have Sarah Bailey, who's a visual merchandiser. So you will get input from a really kind of quite a wide range of different people who will indicate the sorts of job roles that go on behind the scenes. Thank you.
I should probably unmute myself. Yes. So next up, creative direction. Really, this is really a course for those of you who are interested in ideas. You're thinking about images, brands, identities, and how to bring that all together into one coherent outcome. Creative direction is a quite a complicated title. You know, it really suggests and it's usually the title used by those who work at the very top of the industry. And of course, we can't in 5 days get you to the top of the industry. It's usually a title that's held by those who are kind of oversee the brand identity, style, visual direction, the look for a fashion brand, but equally for a media brand, for an art direction agency, art agency, advertising agency. But what we're trying to do with this course is to give you some tools to work towards that position. What does it mean to be a creative director? Well, we think that it's all about these sort of different steps that you need to take, that we also take you through the course of the days that you're with us. We start the course by thinking about what is creative direction? What does it actually mean? What does it entail? What are the different directions, ways of understanding that? In order to be a creative director, you have to all ideas have to be underpinned by insights, research, but also creative ideas. Now, where do those ideas come from? Where does that research come from that fuels your creativity? We'll start with that. We then start to think about how do you direct that insight, that research, and apply it to branding? How do you create a visual look, a tangible feel for a product or a concept? Who is it for? Every single concept, idea, product has to have an audience. Who are you trying to attract with this idea? And how does that impact the ways in which you create ideas? And then the last stage is really about thinking about how do you communicate that idea, that brand, that concept to the audience that you've identified? What are the strategies? What are the storytelling mechanisms that you use to convey that idea? And the way that we've designed this course is that before you arrive to study with us, we'll send you a brief few days before, where we ask you to do some preliminary thinking, and in a way we'll set you a project that during those 5 days you will develop a concept for a creative direction, where each of the workshops, not only will you be gaining insights, but you will also start to practically developing a concept that's unique to you, where you can really then start to express your approach to creative direction. And at the end of the course, you pitch those ideas to the staff working on the course, but also your peers. So again, there's a very tangible outcome, but also we're using this sort of practical example as a way for you to, again, to use my word, to get your hands dirty, to get you do something really practical, to develop a really a project that you can then leave with as an example of what you've done as part of the course. With this course, we have a variety of art directors, creative directors, and futures thinkers that work with you. And here's just a snapshot of the types of people that you might be working with as part of the course. And last but not least, I'm gonna hand over back to Sarah to talk about our latest edition that I'm personally really excited about.
Thank you, Johannes. I am too, and I am very proud to announce the eagerly awaited 5 days of beauty business course, and it really is a wonderful addition to our 5 days of portfolio. Just to kind of give you a bit of a background as to why beauty. Well, you know, we can't ignore this growing industry. It's currently worth approximately 25 billion to the UK economy, and you know, it's a figure that just keeps on rising, possibly down to the pandemic and this post-pandemic obsession with beauty and care industries, and all these beauty startups that happened during the pandemic. There are just so many jobs up for grabs now within this industry. So it's an industry we very much need to promote, and we very much need to be aware of. And also, you know, without the beauty industry, a lot of the fashion brands wouldn't be able to exist. So it is kind of celebrating this symbiotic relationship with the fashion industry too. And the beauty and fashion course sit very nicely together. Anyway, enough of stats for now. So who is this course for? Well, ultimately it's suitable for really anybody that wants to understand the inner workings and foundations of the beauty industry. And we'll be looking at the power of the big brands and how successful brands use innovative marketing techniques to basically ensure total brand visibility. It would also be a very relevant course, I think, for those who are wanting to generate ideas, and they might want to be looking into, you know, a new beauty enterprise or a beauty startup. So you get to learn, and you get the opportunity to learn about the importance of the big brands, you know, the Estee Lauders and what Estee Lauder owns. And you'll also learn about how these brands use strategic marketing through branding and PR, and also how beauty brands create this incredible demand for products using influencer and peer endorsement. We'll also delve into the global and socio-economic trends which influence the beauty consumer, as well as looking into ethical considerations, which is such a huge part of the beauty industry now, with, you know, like looking at waterless beauty. And, you know, it's a big issue that these big beauty brands are now being faced with. So, you know, you have loads of lectures, workshops, seminars, and they're going to be headed up by top beauty industry insiders. And those teachers are going to be confirmed over the next few weeks. So within the course, you're going to be creating a still life Instagram shoot in collaboration with our beauty brand partner, which I'll tell you about in a minute. You'll be delving into business and entrepreneurship session, focusing on beauty startups. You'll be delving into the world of social media marketing, advertising and effective marketing, brand communication, promotion, beauty PR, looking at TikTok and how that works, and how that lures the customer in. We'll be also looking at beauty futures, trends, forecasting, and also looking at advertising case studies from past to present, you know, like the incredible opium advert with Sophie Dahl, to some really wonderful adverts that are really taking the social media world by storm. So for this special launch, we are thrilled to be partnering, and I'm really thrilled to be saying this, that we're going to be partnering with Molton Brown. And each participant of the course will receive a very special gift from the brand. And Molton Brown's very own global brand director, Katie Elwood-Smith, who Harriet mentioned earlier on, she's also going to play a big part in the brand's touch points with our students on this course. Molton Brown also on the Monday will be live briefing our students for this mini collaborative creative project. It's all very exciting. So yeah, I'm absolutely thrilled that this is now in our portfolio. So by the end of the course, you'll receive your Condé Nast College of Fashion and Design certificate on completion. Times, as Johannes said, they're roughly like 10:30 to 4:30. And we're launching the course, the brand new launch. We're launching it on the 17th of June with the following intake in September.
And can I just say that there are some of the sessions between that course, the beauty business course and the business fashion business course, which will be together. So we'll have, you know, beauty entrepreneurs, as I said, in the entrepreneurs panel. So you will get to kind of hang out with each other. All you business bods will be able to spend a bit of time together.
Yeah, it's a really great way to, you know, to cross over and get those ideas flowing. But yeah, absolutely, Harriet. Thank you.
Yeah, so here, if
Sorry.
you have any questions that we haven't answered yet, you can always send us an email to admissions@condenastcollege.ac.uk, and then we can send it to relevant people, be it, there were some questions about the visas, there were some questions about payment. So we can forward those to the appropriate people. Just one correction throughout, and thank you so much for spotting it, because that was spotted by our other attendees today. There is actually incorrect September start date on our slides. This is not the 9th of September. In fact, it is the 2nd of September where when the September reiteration starts. What is on the website is correct. We're really sorry for this mistake in our presentation. However, the June start date is correct. It is the 17th of June, and then the next reiteration will be on the 2nd of September. So again,
Can
sorry.
I say something? We've got a very good question from Lucy Ceramac. I don't know if Ceramac, if you're still here, but she wants to do branding and creative direction for beauty. Would we recommend the creative direction or the beauty course? Which is a very good question. So that's a Johannes or Sarah area to answer.
The question is, I want to do branding and creative direction for beauty in the future. So which course would you recommend? Creative direction or beauty course?
Both.
Yeah.
So in which order though? Where do you start?
Perhaps start with beauty and then move on to creative direction. I don't know whether Johannes.
I would say that would be the order that I would recommend as well. And I always think about, you know, I think there's always different entry points. And I always, one of my metaphors for learning is kind of like you're building your toolbox.
Yeah.
What are the tools that you need to have in your toolbox, and what tools do you have already? Because, you know, you might already have the business knowledge and the product knowledge, but you need more the creative knowledge, or vice versa. So also think about it just based on, like, you know, where are you in the world? What are the skills that you have already? What are you traveling towards? And how might these courses support you on that journey?
Thank you. Camila has a question also. So when paying for my place in one of the courses, does this secure my place or is it just a type of reservation? So Camila, all of the courses we spoke about today, any of the short courses, the 5 days of the Vogue Summer School courses, they're all you just pay in one installment in one go. So the amount, I think it's a little bit below £1,000 for 5 days off, and there's around below £4,000 for Vogue Summer School, and you pay it in one go. It's the other kind of long courses where we split it into deposit, which, yeah, it's like a reservation of your place, and then you pay the rest. But all the courses we spoke about today, it's all one installment, and that's the full payment for the full course fees. This does not include accommodation. The accommodation is separate, and we do not offer accommodation. However, we do recommend a number of different options for accommodation within London that you can avail from, depending on what you and where you wish to live.
Thank you, Lucy. Is it Lucy? Yeah, Lucy's responded and saying that she has lots of experience in the beauty business, so it's the connection. So it could be really doing the creative direction could be really fun then, because that gives you that extra area.
I guess the bonus is that if you do one course and you feel you want to follow up with another course, you know, we do run them. This year we've run them 3 times a year. Next year, I believe we're aiming to run those 4 times a year. So you could come back and do the next course at your next opportunity. So are there places in 5 days of courses? Yes, there are places in 5 days of courses still for both June and September. Obviously, way more for September than for June at this stage. But you can still book those, and that's why we're doing the open session today, so you could familiarize yourself a bit better with those courses and still have time to book them and organize for your stay in London if you wish so. And the courses are kept small. We don't really take more than 20 people per those 5 days of courses, so they're quite intimate. I'm just going very quickly scanning the questions.
There's one here from Parry asking, will there be another course for the fashion styling short course other than September and June?
Yes, most likely January, and then again we'll go into the spring, which I don't have the exact date yet, but it'll most likely be March or April, depending where the kind of spring Easter break falls next year. And yeah, once we take the June off, and once the June is done, then we're trying and publish January dates straight away, so you also know what else is coming up.
There's a question here, what kind of excursion do the fashion journalism course students take?
So quite often as part of that course, we, for instance, do an exhibition visit, which is really an opportunity for us to think about fashion reviews. So news, for instance, news writing is very factual. Features, you then start quite often, you can take something from news and develop it into a feature. With reviews, you start to think about for instance, the role of an opinion, that subjectivity within writing. So for instance, an exhibition visit, not only because London is, there's always a lot of really exciting exhibitions taking place, it's also an opportunity for us to think about the role of a review as a mode of writing. Just one example there.
And we've got a question here from Jade, who wants to ask us to say something about the Vogue Teen Festival. What happens there?
Well, the Vogue Teen Festival, I think we've just had an open day about that. And that's for those, if you are aged between, I hope I'm getting this right, age between 15 to 17.
17.
It takes place on the first weekend of July at our campus. It's 2 days. The day usually starts around 10 or 11 o'clock and goes on about 4 or 5 o'clock. We have a variety of industry speakers, panels, but also interactive workshops that take place during the course of the weekend. And it's really an insight into the world of fashion. It's a really lovely opportunity to meet like-minded people who are interested in fashion, and to learn more about fashion from a variety of different people that we've got coming in during the course of the weekend.
It's very hands-on. It's loads of fun. You get to prepare your own Vogue cover. So yeah, it's as well as we bring a number of different speakers for the very reason to give you again idea of what are the opportunities within that industry where you could learn a little bit more and develop your further interest. So it's a very fun way of getting introduced into both fashion and fashion media. And it's also quite easy in a way that it's only 2 days, and you can book also just 1 day if you cannot stay over in London. So yeah, it's you can choose whatever suits you, and you just book it. There's no entry requirements beyond your age. Okay, I think there are no more questions coming unless you can still spot anything. I hope we've answered all of your questions. If we haven't, please write to admissions@condenastcollege.ac.uk.
Oh, we've got.
Well, thank you, Camila. I'm very happy to know you're 100% sure you want to attend the 5-day fashion styling course. We're very delighted to hear that. Thank you for letting us know, and we'll be delighted to have you there. Where can you apply for the weekend course? I'm going to drop it off here now. So the weekend course is 2 days long, and it's, I believe, 300 for both days and around 150 for a day. And you can read more as well as book it here. Let me just drop it into the chat to everyone. So Vogue in Festival, first weekend of July for those between 15 and 17 years of age. And you can read a bit more there about the festival as well as you can book it just there and then. Are there any English requirements for London Vogue Summer Program? No, those courses don't really hold any entry requirements beyond age. We do recommend you to have a certain level of English, but we will not test you on that. We're just trusting you that you will be reasonable, and if you feel that maybe your English isn't strong enough, you shouldn't join. But if you feel that it is strong, we'd love to have you there. So on the website, there's a little guidance of what we'd like to see, what level of language competency. I'm just double checking it for you very quickly here.
And somebody's asked, Marie would like to know a bit more about the summer school in New York and whether there's a separate Zoom session around that.
Yeah, so okay, for the language very quickly, we recommend 5.5 on IELTS. That's just the guidance. As I said, we're not really checking it, but if you understand the scoring, you should understand where you're at. With the Vogue Summer School in New York, well, it's in New York, in central New York. It's at 570 Lexington Avenue. It's a very beautiful Art Deco building right in central of New York. As Johannes has posted here to everyone, that's the link to the Vogue Summer School. You have to be between 15 and 18 years of age. So if you're above 18, you will not be able to book that school. You can book it online. There's 3 different let's say specialization or focuses within the school. You can go for fashion business, fashion styling, or fashion media option. And currently there is also refer a friend scheme. So if you refer a friend and you both sign up, you'll get $500 discount for the tuition. Now this school, opposed to the London option, it actually offers also an option of accommodation. So you can book it under either as a residential or non-residential. And when it's residential, it's with the accommodation. Non-residential option is without accommodation, and those are appropriately priced to reflect that offer. Destiny, is there anything you'd like to add about the New York Summer School, perhaps?
That's actually our pre-college team. So they would, if they can reach out to our admissions email, and we can forward their inquiry to that team.
Exactly, but we know that the places are running out quickly. It's very popular, our New York school. So if that's where your heart lies, do book it as soon as possible. Also, we just had, in fact, an online session for the Vogue Summer School, and we have now posted it on our YouTube channel. I'm just very quickly, I'm just going to open it and I'll share it with you. I believe I've shared it with someone already today, but we'll make sure you also have it. Okay, so on this
We have
link,
another question come in.
you can watch the recording. Sorry.
Thank you. Suzanne wants to know, what are the courses now offered in Madrid and how do they differ from the London courses?
Well,
Again, we'll add the link to our Madrid website there for you, and because there's a wide variety of courses there as well.
yes.
But it's best that you probably start with the research, and of course, we also do offer a wide a number of online open days for our Madrid college. So that might be the best way for you to get started.
The biggest 2 differences would be, of course, the location, which is in central Madrid. I must say all of our locations are just amazing, as well as the language of delivery itself. Majority of Madrid's courses are delivered in Spanish, saying that there are some also available in English. So feel free to check those out. Sorry, Harriet, I know you wanted to say something.
No, sorry. I was just going to say it's been so exciting seeing all the different questions coming in and kind of connecting with people, and it kind of gives me a buzz for when it's going to be in real life and we're going to see some of you in the flesh and get to know you and see the journeys that you go on. And you never know, your face could pop up on one of the slides here as our alumni, you know, people who've done the course and have gone on to be have amazing careers in the industry, just like some of the people on the slides. So that could be your focus. I'm going to do the course and I'm going to be on a slide in a year's time. So I've really enjoyed it. Thank you.
And you'll notice, or maybe you've noticed from previous slides, that many of our students keep on coming back to us and do another course and another course, which we hope is just a testament of how much they enjoy and how valuable they find all of our courses. So yeah, I think this is it. I think we're run out of questions. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for staying with us for so long, asking all the questions very actively. Like with all the other events, this recording will be posted on our YouTube channel, and we will send it on to you. So you can always go back and watch it, as well as you can explore all the other online events we've had. We post them regularly. So if you can't make it, you can then watch the event later at your own pleasure. And we hope you got all of the information. And if not, you can always drop us an email. Check our social media to see who else is in the college, what else do they do, what are those visits that they do as well. And yeah, we hope to see you at some point on one of our campuses, be it New York, London, or Madrid. So thank you so much, Johannes. Thank you, Hannah. Sorry, Harriet, Jesus. Thank you, Harriet, I'm sorry. And thank
No
you,
worries.
Destiny, for staying all the way through this session.
Thank
So
you.
Thank
have
you.
a wonderful day. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.